All right, it is time for another COMC update video. If you've been following this channel, then you would know that about every 2 months, I update you on how I'm doing with my COMC sales, both the cards I'm flipping on the platform and the cards I'm sending in from off platform to sell on there. So this is going to be the update for August and September. Let's check it out. The dates here are actually going to be July 28th to September 27th. So during this 2-month period, I sold on COMC a total of 246 cards. And just so that you know, there's still 904 cards up for sale on my store. And now comparing this to June and July, I had sold 304 cards. And in April and May, I had sold 377 cards. So August and September were my 2 slowest months yet as far as number of cards sold. But to be honest, I'm not too surprised about that for a couple of reasons. One, it's felt like there's been a little bit less selling. I have still sold at least a card every single day, usually at least a couple of cards every single day, but I have noticed a definite slowdown. That also makes sense because I'll mention this later, but I also have a lot less cards that have been uploaded into the platform during this 2 months, and I have been doing a lot less COMC flipping since I've been changing my strategy to kind of purchasing cards that I'm going to be doing international arbitrage with and sell on the Chinese domestic market. So that's some of these numbers are going to look a lot lower, but those are also the reasons why. So I don't think there's any way you could kind of extrapolate and make some larger like trend on the market in general. My context is quite different, but this is just my context. Now, as far as among those 246 cards sold, 203 of them were COMC flips. And also this is a number that's already been coming down month by month, and it will continue to go down as I'm doing more of this international arbitrage. I'm gonna be making a video updating on some of the international arbitrage stuff later. I've already sold about 100 cards in China within the last few weeks, and then I have another 100 plus waiting to be sold after there's a holiday coming up soon, and then we're going to sell them after that. So I'll update about that because really that ties into this whole COMC thing because it's kind of the completion of the cycle kind of thing. So, but anyway, so I had 203 COMC flips, and just to compare, in June and July I had 229. So not too much different, although the cards that I've been flipping more recently are much lower end since I haven't been putting as much money into them. But I still enjoy the process, so I still look, but tend to do it with more low end stuff so I don't spend too much money on the flips these days. Now, as far as the number of sales from cards I sent in from off the platform during this 2 months, it was 33. In June and July, it had been 75, so a lot less. But again, there was only 7 cards that were inserted into the platform from among stuff that I've sent to COMC during this 2-month period. I have a batch of 742 waiting to be uploaded sometime in the next couple of months, a month or two. I mean, it says like mid-December, but usually they're a little early, so hopefully it'll be sometime in October or more likely November where those 742 cards will get uploaded in. So those numbers, the number of sales from cards sent in from off platform, though it's significantly less than it's ever been, I'm not worried about it. I think it's going to be going up again in the next months once more cards are entered into the system, because you know, if cards sit there for a long time, it means that they probably have less of a demand, and that's why they've been sitting there for a long time. So if I don't have as many new cards inserting and coming into the platform, then it makes sense that would be a slowed down number. All right, now let's look at the profit for these categories. So first I'm gonna look at the 203 cards flipped. Now from those cards, 14 of them are baseball, 1 is football, 1 is NASCAR, and 187 are basketball. So when it comes to COMC flips, you know, I'm more doing this for fun than anything, which is a big reason why basketball is the main one, because that's where I have the most fun. You know, I've kind of moved away from doing the flips as a real strategy. I'm still doing it occasionally for fun, and I am making some profit for fun, but the arbitrage stuff is where I'm kind of focusing as far as like financial strategy. Now, keep in mind, as I'm about to share these different numbers, anything I mention that is related to the amount spent, that will include the transaction fee, which is a 5% fee. That will include the ingestion fee, not for COMC flips. I don't have to do that for COMC flips, but for the cards I've sent in, that will include the 50-cent per card ingestion fee, or $1 per card if it's a graded card. And this will also include the shipping fees, that, you know, the cost it took me to get the card there. But they're not going to include the COMC 10% cash out fee. because for my context, the way I'm doing this is I'm not actually taking it as cash. I'm instead using the money to buy other cards that I'm either going to keep for my PC or end up selling elsewhere as arbitrage kind of opportunities. So for these 203 COMC flips, I spent a total of $535.86 during this 2-month period, and the total I made after the transaction fees was $727.60, making for a profit during these 2 months of $191.74 and an ROI of 35.8%. Now, just as a comparison to what I had outlined in previous videos, in July and August, I had made a $442.36 profit on flipped cards, so more than double. However, the amount I had spent on those was also more than double. So the ROI came out almost identical, actually. So my July-August ROI was 36%, August-September ROI was 35.8%, so basically the same thing. In April and May, I had made even more, $561.82 profit, and had a slightly higher ROI at 40%. But again, I was putting a lot more energy into flipping in April, May, July, and somewhat in August as well. So it also makes sense that, though the ROI it hasn't changed that much, but the amount of time I've spent on flipping has significantly gone down. Thus, the amount of money I've spent on flipping has also significantly gone down. Thus, the profit has also gone down. So I don't think this is necessarily related to the conditions of the sports card market in general. This is more just related to the amount of time and money I've put into this specific thing, because it seems like the ROI is still basically the same based on my experiences here. All right, now let's move on to the 32 cards that I sold that I had sent in from off the platform. And this one included 7 baseball, 9 football, 2 MMA, 1 hockey, and 13 basketball. Now, you'll notice that's a lot more mixed. With the COMC flips, I'm almost only doing basketball just because I have more fun there, and I have a lot more kind of knowledge of the sport, so I know what to look for more. When it comes for off-platform, the stuff that I'm buying is oftentimes, I don't necessarily look at basketball first because there's a lot more demand where I'm at for basketball. There's not so much demand for other sports, baseball, football, and other things. So I'll oftentimes look there first just to see what's available. There's a lot less supply and a lot less demand where I am in baseball and football. So, I'll oftentimes look there first since it's less overwhelming. If I go to search through the basketball, there's just so much. It's a little bit like an ocean. Whereas the baseball and football, I can look at everything being sold that day. If I just sit down on my phone for half an hour, I can see everything that's being sold that day. So I tend to look at baseball and football closer. So that's why you see this more mix when it comes to the cards I'm selling off the platform, and it will probably continue to be that way into the future as well. All right, now for these 32 cards, total I had spent on them, again including all the fees, is $295.40. The total that I had made, again after all the fees, not including the cash out fee as I mentioned, is $486.92 for a profit of $191.52, making an ROI on that amount I had spent for these cards of 64.8%. Now, just as a comparison, in July and August, for the cards I had sold from off platform, I had made $378.42 on 75 cards sold and a 99% ROI. So all of those numbers are higher. And in April, May, it was $866 profit on 99 cards sold with a 131% ROI. So you can see, my ROI definitely has been decreasing from 131% to 99% to 64.8%. But again, a lot of the cards that I've sold more recently are cards that have been sitting on the platform for a long time. So it also makes sense that those would have a lower ROI since they weren't so hot, they didn't go quickly. And since there's just not a whole lot of new stuff coming into my store recently, except for the COMC flips, not a whole lot of stuff from off platform that has entered during this even the past 4 months. I've been very slow on sending cards here. I did send that 742 card batch that's waiting there, but I'm kind of waiting to send in more until those begin the process, just because I don't want to overwhelm too many, because you need to pay 50 cents. So that 742 cards is going to cost me $370 in ingestion fees. So I want to wait for them to start making some profit before I send another batch. I still, just sitting in my living room, have boxes and boxes waiting to go to COMC. I don't know how many, maybe 1,500 cards or something like that waiting to go to COMC, but I'm waiting until at least the process begins for those 742 cards so I can start to get some profit on those. I'm trying to not put in more actual cash into my account itself, so it just slows down my process a bit, because I need money if I want to get some cards sent to myself so that I can sell them in China, which is part of my profit thing. I need money for the shipping on that. I need the money for the ingesting the things, and then I'm spending some of my profit on buying cards that I'm wanting to sell in China. So I have to be a little careful about where I'm putting the money in. So that's part of the reason these numbers are also decreasing. I think you'll start to see that this will start to change a little bit. Regardless of what happens with the card market, I think there will be some changes just for me based on the amount of inventory that's coming in and the amount of inventory that I'm trying to send out. So that's going to change a lot of these dynamics, and it's already starting to change. So now anyway, as far as the total amount for August and September, I had spent on everything I sold here $831.26 and sold them for $1,214.52 for a total profit of $383.26 and an ROI at 46.1%. Now, just as a comparison for this one, so in June and July, I had made about $820 with a 51% ROI, and in April and May, I had made about $1,428 with, I can't remember exactly, but it was a little higher than 51%, maybe 55 or something like that. So the ROI has been coming down, the profit has been coming down, but once I, calculate in the sales from the cards that I bought on COMC and then sold on the Chinese domestic market, that will change things a little bit. So I will be updating you with a video on how that's going, because that's going to be really interesting. I think this first batch is quite interesting to me. There's, I've sold about half of them so far, about 100 cards or so far, and it's really quite interesting. There's certain cards that are doing okay, there's certain cards that are doing way better than I thought, and there's certain cards that didn't do well at all that I thought would. So I definitely learned a decent amount on that first batch of cards that I sold on the Chinese domestic market. So I will update you on a video pretty soon. In the next couple of weeks, I still gotta, I want to wait until it's completely, this first batch of 200 something cards is completely done before I do anything and make any video about it. All right, so next, before we go, let's take a look at some of the cards that did the best for me. I always like this part, I think this is quite interesting. This also, when I highlight the cards that are doing the best for me, it helps me to think, for myself too, because over time, I'm kind of gradually moving towards this model of less and less small, 50-cent gain, 75-cent gain. I'm just trying to move away from that a little bit as I'm trying to strategize a little bit more and kind of pick out individual cards that will make me a little bit more profit. So I always find the cards that made me the most profit to be useful. So in this one, we're gonna look at the top 11. I was gonna look at the top 10 only, but the 11th one is kind of interesting, so I'm gonna throw that one in too. So the number 11 biggest profit card here was the 2003-2004 Upper Deck City Heights LeBron James rookie. This was a COMC flip, and I paid $35 for it and then sold it for $43.06 for an $8.06 profit. Number 10 was the 2019-20 Obsidian Rookie Autographs, numbered out of 99 of Nasir Little. I paid $6 for this, sold this for $14.96 for an $8.96 profit, and this was also a COMC flip. Number 9 was a 2017-18 Crown Royale Jason Tatum rookie, which I paid $22.25 for, sold $31.82 for a $9.50 profit. This was an off-platform purchase that I sold on COMC. Number 8 was the 1989-90 Fleer PSA 9 Kevin Johnson rookie, which I bought for just $8 and sold for $18.05 for a $10.05 profit. Also, this was an off-platform purchase. Number 7 was the 2020-2021 Flawless Collegiate Rookie Autographs, numbered out of 20 of Emmanuel Quickly, which I paid $70.50 for after all the fees and sold for $80.55 after all the fees for a profit of $10.05. This was also an off-platform buy. Number 6 is the 2007-2008 Upper Deck Star Rookies of Kevin Durant. I paid $40 for this and sold this for $50.11 for a profit of $10.11. This was a COMC flip. And then the number 5 was the 2020-2021 Chronicles Honors Red, numbered out of 149 of Patrick Williams, his rookie. This one I bought for just $4 and sold for $14.25 for a $10.25 profit. And this was also a COMC flip. And actually, this was my largest profit on any COMC flip during this 2-month period, just $10.25. So that's quite a bit less than any COMC flips in the past, which again makes sense since I put a lot less time and energy and money into COMC flipping this time around. Number 4, we have the 2020 Topps Chrome Freshman Flash Autograph, numbered out of 99. This is a baseball card of Dustin May. I paid $10.75, sold $23.51 for a profit of $12.76. And again, the last of these are all off-platform purchases. And the number 3 is the 2020-21 Optic Red Wave rated rookie of Sadiq Bey. I bought for $2.75, sold for $18.76 for a profit of $16.01, and a really awesome ROI on that one. And then the last 2 here were actually both auctioned cards that I had bought off platform and then ended up auctioning on COMC, which I don't necessarily suggest. I did it for these ones and for a few others as well, where I had what I thought was enough of a space for, even if the auction didn't do so well, I would still, bring in a pretty good profit. And I as I said before, there's a lot of things I'm trying to use that profit for, so I thought it was worth it. But I've noticed that every time still, after I do COMC auctions always seem to end at lower prices than other eBay auctions. I thought this might have just been a trend that was happening, when COMC was getting a lot of low reviews during some of the coronavirus pandemic stuff, when they were doing had a lot of delays and things like that, when they got a lot of negative reviews. But it seems that even now my COMC auctions always seem to go for quite a bit less than other auctions happening on eBay. So I'm going less and less and less COMC auctions. I don't know if maybe it works better for higher end cards or something like that, but I'm always in at least, no higher than a mid-tier end kind of card. So I don't know, just generally I would be careful if you decide to do COMC auctions. It's not ever been very successful for me. But that being said, the top 2 profit makers I did make here were both auctioned cards, but the reason was I had bought them for such a good price that it was just too easy not to make a good profit. So number 2 was the 2020 Obsidian Rookie Eruption Electric Etch Red, which is a patch numbered out of 10 of Jonathan Taylor from his rookie year. Awesome card. This one I bought for just $25, and I sold in an auction for $49 for a $24 profit. And then the number 1 was the 2016 Bowman International Inc. PSA 9 rookie of Juan Soto, which I bought for a crazy $18.50 only. I sold this one in an auction for $49 for a profit of $30.50. And both of those last 2, I was expecting them. I mean, I was happy that they brought me a good profit, but I was actually expecting them both to go for quite a bit higher. They're pretty awesome cards. It's also interesting to note that only 3 of the top 10 here were COMC flips. I think that's the lowest percentage of the top 10 I've had that are COMC flips. And the rest of these were off platform, despite the fact that 203 of my 239 cards or whatever it was, something like that, were COMC flips in total. Most of those, as you can see, were really, really low end flips, just for fun kind of things. And the larger off-platform stuff, this is more based on my actual strategy. All right, anyway, that's it for this video. That was a lot of numbers. I hope you stuck around. There's a lot of stuff here, but I always really enjoy these things. I do this partially for you guys, the viewers, because I think this is fascinating stuff, but I'm also doing this for myself. It's kind of a way for me to keep track of everything, so it's very useful. But at the same time, these videos take me so long, and doing all the math for all this stuff takes a lot of time. So definitely hit that like button and that subscribe button if you haven't yet. If you're still here at this point in the video, and definitely helps encourage me to keep doing this kind of video for you guys, because if I just did it for myself, I'd probably modify this and do it a little bit more simple and everything. But I think this is so fascinating. If other people did these kind of videos, I'd probably watch them enthralled. So I figure some of you guys really will enjoy these. So definitely hit that like button and let me know in the comments any thoughts you have about all this. And that is it. Check you next time. Peace.